Yeah, so things we're learning that's not true. We're not victims, even though it can look like we're victims sometimes. We're not. So I'm going to play a little song to get us warmed up because it's cold.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief. Tell you. All right, so we're gonna continue with that theme of not being a victim right now.
Okay.
And we're gonna just listen to my friend John Christmas here. He's gonna be sharing a little song that I'll be doing with him. And so just let yourself breathe and relax, and let's have a good time and hear some devastating news. Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. So think of some situation, circumstance, you know you think you're a victim right now. It may look like you're a victim, but you're not a victim. You are the creator of the world you see. You give the meaning to whatever you see. I'm giving the meaning to whatever you see. So what's happening now, yeah, is what I've done to me. So we gotta say it one more time. I'm not a victim of the North, I'm not a victim of the South, not a victim of anything. So what comes out my mouth, I'm not a victim. That's it. Of the world I see, I'm not a victim of the world I see. What's happening now is what I've done to me. Take a breath. I'm not a victim. What? Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I gotta breathe. I gotta take that in. I'm gonna keep on claiming responsibility. I'm going to accept that I create what happens to me. I'm not a victim. Not my mama, not my father, not my race, not my gender. I'm not a victim of anything that's happened to me, because what's happening now, including the good stuff, is what I've done to me. Because sometimes we think about the stuff we don't like. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Oh yeah, would you give it to yourself for showing up today? Woo! My goodness, that's some good stuff there, isn't it?
It is.
I know. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. And just remember, you don't have to believe it. If you're here for the first time, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. People who come out here all the time don't believe it. So especially you don't have to believe it if you're here for the first time. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to welcome it. Some of the things I say may be hard to believe. Some of the things may be quite startling. You're not asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. It's the use of it that will show you that it works. And keep in mind that this is just another point of view. It's another way of looking at it. And if you allow yourself to play with this way of looking at it, I promise you the level of peace that you'll eventually have in your life will be beyond your wildest imagination after you get through one to destroy every bit of it and everything about it, and you get frustrated and you get all upset about it because we identify with our beliefs. We don't realize that, but we actually think we are our beliefs. Mm-hmm. So when someone tells us something that's different from what we believe, our first instinct, even if we say we want to be open-minded, is to resist what we're hearing because the world, our point of view creates the world we see. It's not that the world we see creates our point of view. So your world is validating your point of view. So therefore, when someone tells you something completely different, your temptation will be to say, well, that's not true. You know, that's because your world is reflecting your point of view. So therefore, it looks true to you. So one of the easiest ways to test if something is true for you is to live in the question. As much as possible, ask questions. What should I do right now? How should I look at this right now? How can I have a different kind of relationship than I've ever had before? How can I know my abundance right now? I'm having a rough time on my job. What is it that I need to see or do differently? Living in the question opens the universe up to answer you and to give you insight. When you're a conclusionary and you think you've already figured it out and you got it all figured out, and so you're looking for everything to validate what you decided it's supposed to be, this is a great way to close your mind to solutions that could be made available to you by spirit. So that's why it's so important to live in the question. What would it take for me to be wealthy? What would it take for me to heal this situation? What would it take for me to have more joy in my life? What would it take for me to get past this situation that I'm dealing with right now that's tripping me out? You want to ask questions. You want to live in the question. Now, the next thing you want to do is not try to answer it yourself. You just want to ask the question. Get in the habit of asking the question because that signifies that you're willing to appeal to something greater than your own ego. We did not create ourselves. There is an infinite intelligence that's behind this that can lead us through this maze of misery that we sometimes give ourselves to the joy that we want to experience. But you can have a guide if you're doing a safari, and it would be kind of smart to follow the guide, especially if it's the first time you've been to Africa, right? But at the same time, that still doesn't absolve you from being the leader in charge. So yeah, you're in charge, but you have a guide. The Course in Miracles calls that guide the Holy Spirit, or the voice for God, the voice for light, the voice for divinity that's inside of you that each and every one of us has to tune into, but we've learned to listen to our own so-called wisdom more than the wisdom of our divine self. So one of the ways that you get in touch with what's true for you is to give it the heavy light test, which means if you ask yourself a question and the answer that you receive feels heavy, that may not be what's true for you. So as you listen to what I'm saying, pay attention to the way that you're reacting. If it makes you feel heavy, there are two things happening. It's either not true for you or it conflicts with a cherished belief that you already hold. You know, but kind of check that out. And so you want to go in the direction of what makes you feel lighter. So don't spend a lot of time focusing in on the things that I may say that for whatever reason you don't agree with. What you want to do is tune into the thing that I say that may be the reason why you're here today. It may be the insight that you want to get. So give everything the heavy light test. You know, you're thinking about getting back with that person. Does that make you feel heavy? Or does it make you feel light? I know from looking at you what it makes you feel. It wasn't exactly, it wasn't a smile on the person's face in the entire friggin' building. I wish I could have snapped the picture, y'all. Hell no! Okay, so we were last week in the last episode of the Course in Miracles, we were talking about the importance of setting a goal and what it is that you need to do for any goal and the steps of being successful in any goal that you're setting for yourself. So let's talk about that. And so we're going to be on page If you're in the Course in Miracles, got the Course in Miracles book, we're going to be on page, I'm going to start on page 366, and I'm going to start with the paragraph 4. It says the value of deciding in advance. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to do it in a conversational way, and then I'll throw it open for any questions that may come up for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go through some more. I want to go through the material, as much of it as we can in an hour, because I love the Course in Miracles. Okay, so I want you to think about something that you want to happen, something that you like to happen in your life right now, some goal, some purpose in some area that you'd like to see a change, something you'd like to see different, something you'd like to have happen to you. Everybody got something? Everybody got something? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is probably the thing you were thinking about before you got here, that you wish were different. And it says the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen. The value of deciding in advance what you want to happen. The value of deciding in advance what you want to happen is something that you will perceive the situation as a means to make what you want to happen happen. If I decide what I want to happen when I'm with you, I'll see being with you as a means to make what I want to happen happen. If I want more peace on my job, when I go to my job, I will see my job as a way to make the peace I want to happen happen. So when you decide what you want, then every situation should become a way that you can make what you want to happen happen. And how do you do that? How do you make what you want to happen happen? How do you achieve your goal? The Course in Miracles says you will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. You would therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. If my objective is to experience love and peace with you, and if I really want to have that, then I'm going to try to overlook everything that keeps me from experiencing love and peace and communication with you. If I'm going to achieve my goal, I have to overlook the things that interfere with the goal. How does the average person do it? They focus on everything that keeps them from accomplishing the goal. I want to have peace with you, but you're just really a real problem. See, I'm focusing on everything that interferes with the goal, and the Course says you will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. That means you concentrate on everything that helps you meet your objective. So if I want to achieve something, I overlook everything that interferes with it, and I focus on everything that helps me meet it. It's quite noticeable that this approach has brought you closer to spirit sorting out of what's false and what's true. So this is the way you determine what's false and what's true. The true becomes what you can use to meet your goal. The false becomes what's useless from this point of view. So whatever is not helping me meet my goal, I should declare that as false. Whatever is helping me reach my goal, I should declare that as what's true. And the Course in Miracles says that the true becomes what can be used to meet the goal. The false becomes the useless from this point of view. So now the situation has meaning, but only because the goal made it meaningful. So if I'm in a situation and it doesn't seem to make any sense and it doesn't seem to have any meaning, it means I have lost sight of my purpose for being in the situation or relationship. If I'm in a relationship and it doesn't seem like it has any meaning, it's because I have lost sight of why I got in it in the first place. What was the purpose in the beginning? What is the purpose? The purpose is meaning. So if your life seems to have no meaning, and your job seems to have no meaning, and your relationship seems to have no meaning, it just means you don't have a goal. If you have a goal, then you would be seeing each one of these situations as a means to make what you want to happen, happen. See, the Course in Miracles promises that if you do it, that you will learn new interpretations of your experience that will give you peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you can hear your own divine guidance. And when you hear your own inner guidance, you will be told what to do in every situation that will bring the maximum outcome of peace for you. So first I have to go from conflict to peace of mind to hearing my guidance. You can't go from conflict to hearing your guidance. You have to go from conflict to peace of mind to hearing your guidance. The Course in Miracles is just one tool for doing this. So since my goal is peace of mind, then the Course in Miracles becomes a means to help me achieve my goal. So now I know why it's in my life and why I'm using it. So now it has meaning to me because my goal gives it meaning. So wherever you don't have any sense that it means anything, it's where you're not sure what you want and what you want to come out of it. Okay, boom. Questions about what I just said? Any clarification about what I just said? Yeah.
It seems like if we want to overlook everything that doesn't serve our goal, that perhaps it might lead us to push things away that we need to look at. So could you talk about that?
Yeah. What I need to look at is the thing that's going to help me achieve my goal, because that's what's moving me toward my goal. If I do it the old way, which is I'm going to focus on everything that doesn't help me meet my goal. Now check out what I'm saying. I'm going to focus in on what doesn't help me meet my goal. That's different from I'm looking at some blocks that I need to let go of to help me reach my goal, is helping me reach my goal.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? But if I'm focusing on what won't help me, which is, I know I need to be getting this thing ready for my job tomorrow, but I think I'm going to go to the movie. Okay, I'm overlooking what's going to help me do my goal. But if I say I want to go beyond my procrastination, and I want to learn how to get past procrastination so I can reach my goal, then you actually focusing on what helps you meet your goal. So I think that's what we're talking about. Thank you for asking that. Anybody else? Any question about that paragraph? So the next time you're in a situation and you're feeling like it's meaningless, and you're feeling like you're disoriented, and it's not moving you, and it's not inspiring you, what does that mean?
You lost your goal.
You've lost sight of your goal, and you lost sight of your purpose. Right. Okay. And what is true? What should be seen as what's true and valuable?
Anything gets you there.
Anything that gets you there. So that's what's true, and what doesn't help you reach it is false. So I love how it says you would therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. All right. Anybody else? Everybody clear on that? You got that? So now you understand why you feel any area of your life is meaningless right now and is not moving you. It's because you don't have a goal that inspires you, and it's not something that you're clear that you want, or you would be seeing every situation that you go in as an opportunity to make it happen. All right, that's why sometimes when you go out on a date and you want some loving to happen, you focus on the dinner that might make it happen. You focusing on everything you're doing is what? It's all part of your master plan to have the loving happen. So now you know why you're there at the dinner table. To make what you want to happen, happen. And you overlook everything that doesn't. So like if you're after the body, you'll overlook the mind. Because it won't help make what you want to happen, happen. You know, that your IQ doesn't matter if I want to squeeze your breast. Amen. All right. I told you I'm sincere, but I ain't gonna be serious. Now y'all can be serious if you want to. I don't have time for that stuff. Okay. Now the Course says the goal of truth has further advantages. So let's be clear to what the Course in Miracles goal is. The Course in Miracles is teaching that the goal in a relationship is sanity and peace. That what you really want in your relationship is sanity. And what you really want is peace. What you really want is love. What you really want is union. What you really want is connection. So therefore, if I really want real communication, real joining, and real connection, then when we're together, I'm going to see it as a means to make that happen. And the easiest way to make something happen is you be the one that's demonstrating it yourself. Because a teacher is a demonstrator. A teacher isn't a talker. I'm going to demonstrate to you how to do something. Like with computers, anybody that knows anything about computers, sometimes it's very difficult to talk someone through anything on the computer. But you can sit right next to them and let them see what you're doing, and then they get it a whole lot faster. So you need to be the demonstrator of the kind of experience that you'd like to have, rather than looking for someone else to do it. Right? So if the goal of truth has further practical advantages. It says if the situation is used for truth and sanity, its outcome must be peace. So the outcome is going to be peaceful if I'm using this relationship for sanity. And that's quite apart from what the outcome is. In other words, if peace is the condition of truth and sanity, if you have truth and you have sanity, you're going to have peace. Where there's truth and sanity, you're going to have peace. And you can't have peace without truth and sanity. So when you're upset and in conflict, you're not using truth and sanity. And where peace is, truth and sanity must be. The truth will come of itself. So if you are experiencing peace, real peace, then it's because the truth has come to you. And when the truth comes to you and you have peace, then you can see the outcome truly, because when you're at peace, it's much harder for someone to deceive you. When you're at peace and your perception is clear and you're feeling centered, it's very difficult for someone to deceive you, because you know when you're feeling peace or not. And you know when you need to continue to ask questions because you don't feel peace. So you will recognize the outcome because you're at peace. So your number one goal in any situation is to get to a peaceful state of mind. Then from the peaceful state of mind, then choose your next action. Don't go from anger to action. It's the worst thing in the world you can do, is go from upset to action. You want to go upset, let me get some peace. Now, let me ask. Now, let me do the action. That's not the way the average person does it. Actually, when they're most upset is when they most try to do something about it. And that's when it, that's when it kind of screws up everything for everybody. So you want to act from a place of peace. So the Course in Miracles then says, here again, you see the opposite of the ego's way of looking. Now, what does it mean by the ego? The opposite of the fearful mind's way of looking at things. The Course in Miracles teaches that there are only two basic emotions that we're always experiencing. It's either love or fear. Fear goes by many names, and love goes by many names, but we're basically only experiencing love or fear all the time. So the ego is just a part of your mind that feels separate and feels afraid and thinks it's guilty and thinks it's on its own and thinks it's by itself. In other words, the mind of a regular person. Right? And then the Course says the Holy Spirit is that part of your mind that is loving, that is sane, that is connected to Source, that knows the truth and knows it's not alone and knows how to listen. And there are two different worlds that go with each one of those mindsets. So people in a fearful, separate, guilty, angry, suspicious state of mind, they live in a different world of perception than someone that's in a loving, peaceful, innocent, giving state of mind. So a person that's in a loving state of mind is experiencing a world that's so nurturing and so loving that it actually seems like it's a fantasy to someone whose life seems like it's nothing but full of struggle and challenges and insecurities and fears. People think that I live in a world as a result of 30 years of working on this that I don't have any enemies in my world. I only have nurturing people in my world, including my family, everybody. And the thing that happens when your entire world shifts to this new loving perception when you practice this is that when you still have any kind of upset, anger, or worry that comes up, you realize that it's really being self-created, because now you don't have anything that's happening on the outer to blame. See, it used to be I could say I was upset because it looked like something was antagonistic against me in some way out in my world. I started practicing the truth, and then I corrected my perception enough that I started to see the love that's promised when you practice love and truth. And I still would get upset, still would worry sometimes, and still would get depressed. And I was like, whoa, that means that it was always my mind creating it all the time. It really wasn't necessarily anything that anyone was doing outside of me. And so that's one of the stages you go through as you practice transforming your perception, is that all of a sudden you'll see the outer begin to change, and you'll still find yourself thinking some of those old thoughts that are not very cheerful and very happy. And that's when you get in touch with, oh, it's my mind that's creating my upset. Now I know where the answer is. No wonder I didn't recognize where the answer was. The answer was in my own mind, and I thought the answer was getting you to do something different and getting you to change in some way, and I wasn't looking where the answer was located, and that's why I stayed frustrated, because I wasn't looking where the answer was located. That's why I stayed frustrated, because I wasn't looking where the answer was really located. That's why I stayed frustrated. So you can't find the solution where it's not located, and it's not located outside of your mind. Where everybody's looking, by the way. They're looking for their friends to be the answer, their relatives to be the answer, their political party to be the answer, the president to be the answer. Everything is the answer but me. The Course says that we use our mind primarily to come up with everything other than our mind that needs to change. So I'm really using my mind, but only to come up with what everybody else needs to do. I'm not using my mind to come up with what I need to do to change my mind. And then you're tempted sometimes to say, you know what, I know this. Well, you should be the happiest person in the house. If you really know it, then you should be the happiest person in the house. So don't let your ego tell you you know something that you haven't actualized and integrated yet just because you can repeat what you've heard. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, I create my reality. And what are you complaining about then? Because Earl, if you're the one that creates your reality, then you're the one that can change what's happening. So what are you depressed about, person that's saying, I know I create my reality, but I'm upset with my mate? Like, many truth students do. Oh, I know that's true. Then what's the problem? Okay, so that's what I always want to ask. Well, what's the problem? If you can just snap the answer off like that quick. Oh, I know I'm the one that's creating this show. And what's the problem? What you should do is say, okay, I just need a new way of looking at things. And then I'm going to use it, and your spiritual path gives it to you. So, I love it. It says, here again, you see the opposite of your fearful mind's way of looking. The fearful mind believes the situation brings the experience. I'm just in this situation. I don't know how I got in this situation, but I'm having this experience of upset because I'm in this situation, and I'm innocent, and I'm nice, and I never did anything to hurt anybody. I'm the sweetest person that ever lived, but everything in my life is hey-oh. See, the situation is bringing the experience. So the Holy Spirit, which is the higher self, the sane mind, knows that the situation is as the goal determines it. Your situation is as your goal determines it. When I first read that, I went, whoa. The situation is as the goal determines it. So you mean if I'm in a situation of unhappiness, then at some unconscious level, I have a goal of unhappiness. There's a part of me that thinks I need to suffer. Is that why I'm in this situation? I have goals that I don't even know that I have. The situation is as your goal determined it. You just don't always know what your goals are. Then it says the situation is going to be experienced according to the goal. The situation is going to be experienced according to the goal. Okay, boom. Let me throw it open for 5 minutes or so, or less, depending on whether you have any questions about what that paragraph said. Yes.
The time frame for getting to a peaceful frame of mind, that's different for each person, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to
Absolutely.
give the other person a chance, whether it's a day or 2 days or a week or how long.
50 years. Like in the case of most people. Yeah, it's we all are on our own time schedule. It's an individual curriculum. Each of us has our own way to get to that point. As a matter of fact, the Course says free will doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. Like when you say, I have free will. Well, all that means is you can choose how much you want to learn at any given time. But you can't create the curriculum for happiness, because happiness has its own curriculum, which is I look within, I see myself as innocent, I'm not attacking everybody around me, I'm recognizing my unity and oneness with those around me, I'm trying to connect with, in other words, there are rules for peace, and they're the same, ultimately. Now, how each one of us gets to that peace, that's an individual thing. So so the Course in Miracles says, when it says free will, it's saying you just determine how much you're going to do at any given time. That's your free will. And I like to use the analogy of if you were going to become a lawyer, they tell you the curriculum you're going to take to get your degree. You don't come there and say, this is what I'm going to do to become a lawyer. Okay? They tell you. Your free will comes in when you say, I'm going to do this semester, next semester, or I'm going to take evening classes, or I'm going to take so many hours. Now, that's your free will. But the curriculum, you have that given to you. So the curriculum for unlimited happiness and joy is provided for us how much we want to learn, like what's happening right now. Like we're being given the curriculum for setting a goal and having the goal accomplished, right? Whether you want to do this and when you want to do this is up to you. That's your free will. How long it takes depends on how much you've reached your limit in any given era. A person who hasn't reached their limit, they'll mess around for years and years and years and years and years. Someone who has reached their limit, then they're done. Like, you know, it's like when it was time for me to leave my marriage, I had learned as much as I could at that particular time, Mr. Course would say. Then I didn't care about the furniture, the TV, the car, the house. I just wanted to leave. So I wasn't going to argue over stuff that I knew I was going to attract again anyway, because I'd already noticed that pattern in my whole life, that stuff just comes to me. So I wasn't worried about stuff, but I did need my peace of mind, and I didn't want to be in a place of attack. So I made a move. Then I got into the course, and I was an addict about the course because I was ready to have peace. So how long it takes depends on how motivated you are to change. Many people are like the frog in the pot. You heard that story about the frog in the pot, that if they raise the temperature really slowly, the frog won't jump out and just eventually die because it doesn't even realize what's happening. That's the way the average person is. They're like the frog in the pot. You know, it's like they're staying in the same situation because it's not so excruciating that they have to go, but at the same time, it's not really a party on the job, but it's not the worst thing that ever happened. So I'll stay on the job I hate for 30 years. So the relationship, I know, I don't exactly get thrilled when I see her. And when she comes home and we have a talk, you know, like you go to the restaurant, you see couples that have been together for a long time and they eating like this.
Yeah.
The dining dead. Well, when you see people like that, it's because they're the frog in the pot. There's no great enthusiasm happening, but you know, he's not exactly an axe murderer. So I'll stick around. So you really make a move when you really have reached your limit. In a sense, most people settle for so much less than they deserve. They stay in situations for a lifetime. You should be thrilled by your friends. You should be, you know, I was with friends last night, I was thrilled. You know what I'm saying? I was thrilled. You know, I come here, I'm thrilled. You can see me. I don't look like I'm bored, do I? I'm doing this because I'm thrilled. I'm with you because I'm thrilled. And so I attract thrilling people in thrilling situations. And people call me up and want me to do thrilling things with them. It's a thrilling life. I got a thrilling email just this morning. So, you know, I'll tell you about that later. So that's very important. Are you inspired or fatigued? Because if you're inspired, you're in spirit. If you're fatigued, you're listening to your ego. Any goal you set for yourself that doesn't inspire you, don't chunk it. It's just something that you're doing for security, not out of your heart. Okay. Anybody else before I go to the next part of this? You with me so far? Okay. So if you're in a situation, are you in that situation to make what you want to happen? Yeah. Okay. And what helps you reach your goal, that's what you want to focus on, right? And then what doesn't help you reach your goal, that's not what you want to focus on, right? Right. And so it's very important, if you do nothing else when you leave out of here today, in whatever area you're feeling any kind of unhappiness in, you want to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? And what do I want to come of this? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? I'm in this relationship. What is the purpose? What is it for? I'm in this financial situation. What is the purpose? What is it for? I'm in this spiritual situation. What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? I'm attracted to that person right there. What's the purpose? What's it for? Somebody asks you out. Say, what for? That'll get cut to the chase. Why do you want to go out with me? What made you come over here? You know, because they know, and they can't answer you real quick. Be suspicious. They shouldn't be stuttering because they know why they walked over, right? Okay, what is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? So then it says the goal of truth requires faith. Faith is implicit in the acceptance of love's purpose. This faith is all inclusive. Where the goal of truth is set, that's where your faith must be. Where your goal is set is where the faith must be. It's where your goal is set. That's where the faith must be, where the goal is set. So love sees the situation as a whole. Your higher self, Holy Spirit, love sees the situation as a whole. Now, what does that mean? This is one of my favorite sentences in this book. It says, the goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in the goal will play his part in the goal's accomplishment. I'll say it again. You set a goal that establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play their part in its accomplishment. So once the goal is established, everybody's playing their part in it, whether I realize it or not. That's one of those things you have to open your mind way up to begin to kind of wrap your mind around that one. You know, the way metaphysics work, the way the universal laws work, is that everything is cooperating with your purpose at some level, whether you realize it or not. So once you set the goal, then everybody's going to help you achieve that goal. If you think that you're not valuable, it'll look like no one treats you as if you're significant and valuable. They're all helping you achieve your goal of feeling like you are not very important. So everywhere you go, it'll look like no one's noticing you, no one's paying any attention to you, no one's saying to you what you want to hear. If your goal is to see your significance and to see your power, then everywhere you go, people will be acknowledging you and somehow or another supporting that idea to help you see yourself another way. So the goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play their part in its accomplishment. This is inevitable. That means no one will fail in anything. This seems to ask for faith far beyond you, right? It says, and it seems like this is calling for faith beyond you, what you can give. I mean, I got to believe that everybody's going to play their part to help me achieve my goal. That seems like that's calling for a whole lot of faith. And it says that this is so only from the viewpoint of a fearful mind. See, a fearful mind always looks at everything in terms of limitation. So the minute you say anything to them, their mind's going to immediately go to, why I can't work? Why what you're saying isn't true? Why I can't feel significant? The limited mind looks for limitation. The unlimited mind is always looking at the big picture and looking at the goal and the purpose. So the Course in Miracles then says, your ego, which is the fearful mind, believes in solving conflict through fragmentation and doesn't perceive the situation as a whole. So I'm going to take you and I'm going to deal with you over here, and I'm going to deal with this situation over here, I'm going to deal with this situation over here, I'm going to deal with this person over here, I'm going to deal with this person over here, but I'm not going to look at the situation as a whole. So I like to split off segments of the situation, deal with segments of the situation separately. And the reason why I like to do that is I have faith in separation. I don't have faith in wholeness. I don't have faith in oneness. I have faith in separation. So I deal with everything separate rather than looking at it as the one relationship I'm having with the whole. I want love with the whole, with all of you, with everything. So I'm looking at it as if you are playing, like whatever I wanted to experience in my class today, however you're being today, is helping me achieve my goal of the kind of class I wanted to have with you today. No matter how you're responding to me, I look at it as this is exactly what I'm asking for today, and everybody's responding exactly the way I want them to respond. If there's anything about the response that's not bringing peace to me, then I need to change my mind about what it is that I think I want to achieve. I don't try to get you all to act different than how you're acting. I change my mind about what I'd like to have happen. But I'm not blaming you for whatever's going on, because I'm the creator of my perception of my experience. See how much more peaceful that is? Could you imagine if I set it up where I needed each and every one of you to behave the way I wanted you to behave in order for me to feel good up here? You know, forget it. I love being a control freak that's finally trying to control me. I'm so submissive to me. I just spanked me just last night. 50 Shades of Black. Ooh, Lord have mercy. So, any questions about that paragraph before I go to the last paragraph of this section? So I'll say one more time. Everybody's going to help you achieve your goal. Nobody's going to fail in anything. You just need to be clear about what it is you want to experience. And what you're going to experience is either going to be some form of love or some form of fear. And everything that you physically ask for is the thing that you think is going to give you the experience that you hope for. So whenever you ask for anything physical, you're just trying to have an experience that you think that physical thing is going to give you. If I say I want to have a relationship with you, then what I really want is the experience I think the relationship with you is going to give me. If I say I want a car, I want the experience of transportation. If I say I want a phone, I want the experience of communication. Anything you ask for in the world, everything in the world is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It's what you use it for is going to determine what its purpose is. You know, a gun can be used to protect, or a gun can be used to attack. The gun is neutral. It's who's behind the gun that's making the big difference about what happens with the gun. And that's true about everything. The Course in Miracles teaches every single thing we see, every event that happens is neutral, but we have no neutral thoughts about anything. So we aren't capable of having neutrality in our perception, but everything is neutral. Think about that for a minute, and you'll let go of a lot of your beliefs in guilt and sin. It's nothing that's inherently bad. It's the way you use it that's determining its effect. Period. So you're innocent, your body is innocent. It's not doing anything. It's how I want to use it. Yeah, Chris.
So how does the Course define faith?
It defines faith as faith is actually your willingness to trust the truth in your goal of truth. You got faith from a Course perspective. You want to have faith and trust in your willingness for it. You want to have faith. You want to learn to have faith in the higher part of you that loves you and that wants you to have the love. So faith is another form of love. It's another form of belief. It's another form of what is it I'm going to invest in? What is it that I'm going to see as my point of view? What is it that I'm going to give credence to, reality to? See, it's a trip. It's like the ego part of us is so inventive that we can have the belief that we know what's going on and be unhappy and not realize those two things cannot be. You cannot be miserable and be looking at things correctly. You know, it just doesn't happen. And so many people who think they're right and they think they know it all, but they're not experiencing any of the peace and joy and fulfillment that's being promised to someone who really does know. So you work your way back. If I'm miserable, unhappy, and guilty, then I need to work back to the beliefs that I have that's creating that, rather than spend my time pretending like I know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on, or else I wouldn't be feeling this way. I just changed my perception. I changed my interpretation. I see it another way. So this is just, remember what I'm saying now, this is just another point of view. It does not negate your point of view. It doesn't say this is the only way to look at it. When you come here, I'm just giving you other points of view. And that's it. You can buy it, or you can not buy it. It's okay with me. But I'm just sharing with you from the Course in Miracles other points of view. Yes?
So if everyone is playing their part to help me achieve my goal, and my goal, from at least what I hope it is peace, love, and connection, but that's not what I'm experiencing, does that really mean I have another goal that I'm not aware of, or that people are helping me to achieve the goal by whatever means it is for me to wake up?
How do you want to see it?
That second one.
Okay, let's go with that. The one, which feels lighter?
Yeah, the
Okay.
one where they're helping me whether or not it feels good or bad.
Okay, that's the one. That's the
Okay.
one. Because all things are neutral. So then what it becomes to you becomes your way of reacting. What I do is I just basically say whatever is happening is what I'm asking for. I'll say stuff like, I don't know why I asked for that. I don't know how I asked for that. I don't know why I asked for it, how I asked for it, when I asked for it, but somehow or another I created this in my perception. And what I found, and this is the part that's so important to get, what I found is when I look at it like that, even if I'm looking at it half-heartedly like that, I have never had a situation in 40 years that did not clear itself up. Every time I played the victim, it drug on and on and on and on and on and got more and more complex. But when I would go, somehow or another I'm responsible, at some level what's happening is connected to me, somehow or another I am the source of this, even if I don't know how, then I would watch the situation heal in some way. So I got to the point now, I don't even care whether or not I understand why or how I asked for it. I just go straight to responsibility. Because when I go to responsibility without blame, I watch a miracle occur every single time. So all the energy I used to put into, well, I'm not, how did I do that? It didn't have anything to do with me, or it was the other person. I don't know what other people will be. It's like now I go to, okay, Holy Spirit, I somehow or another asked for this, and what's the lesson in this, and how can I look at it differently, and what's the lesson so that I can go ahead and get the lesson, so I won't have to keep this coming up all the time, because the trial is just a lesson coming back around again to see if I'm going to make a new choice this time versus the choice I made the last time. So I'm no longer, I'm an obedient child now. I'm not fighting this stuff. I'm going, how can I implement it? How can I implement it? Now, the first stage of it was all, but what if, what about, what if, but it couldn't be me, no, that must have been something. Okay, that's fine. No, knock yourself out. You're innocent. You can play that as long as you need to. That's fine with me. I'm not trying to get anybody to think any kind of way. If there's some kind of payoff in you seeing yourself as a victim and powerless and no longer a creator of your experience in any way, then hang in there. Play with it as long as you want, because it's just another point of view. That's cool. That's your point of view. Do you like the results of it? That's all you want to do. You just want to take a look at it and go, do I really like the results of my point of view? Because my life is the result of my point of view. And so am I enjoying this experience that I'm having right now? Well, no. Well, then you might want to be willing to say, please, somebody, give me another point of view. and then there are tons of them that are helpful and that are available. Yes.
So what I'm hearing is, if I have a open mind and I'm not a victim, what I'm manifesting in my life is going to tell me whether I'm coming from fear or coming from my higher self. Is that?
Absolutely.
Do I understand that?
Yeah, because it's just a three-dimensional mirror. You don't ever have to wonder what's going on in your mind. It's what you're seeing with your eyes.
If my ego is in control, I may not see that point of view.
Well, that's what's so cool, is that when your ego is in control, you don't see it. Because the purpose of the fearful ego part of your mind is to keep you unaware of what's really creating your pain, to get you to project that it's being caused by somebody outside of you, so that you can keep that separate identity of fear going, because it's an identity that wants to survive, and it can only survive through deception. So if it can make you think your upset is being caused by some circumstance or person outside of you, well then the game can keep on, you can run that game down for the rest of your life. So what books like The Course in Miracles and any truth book does is it makes you aware of the part of your mind that you don't know about that's limiting you in some way that you don't even realize is limiting you. So it's doing what we call shadow work. Now shadow work is the most challenging thing for a person to do, because it's sometimes it's insulting to their image of themselves of being really nice. Because people have an image of themselves that they're really nice, and they don't want you to mess with their nice image. And so sometimes they don't want to hear, well, actually, I don't know how to break it to you, but there's a part of you that sucks. It's not nice, it's selfish, it's greedy, it's jealous, it's stingy, it's possessive, it projects, it attacks, and it blames. And it thinks it's alone. It doesn't have any faith in anything greater than itself. Now, that's where all those people and situations come from that you're wondering where they're coming from in your life. They're coming from your own unconscious beliefs and thoughts about yourself that you don't even know that you have. Because you have an image of yourself that is this phase of innocence, that you're just the nicest person in the world, and you have none of these qualities, and everybody's just messing with you. So to go to a higher level of consciousness calls for a level of honesty that the average person is not willing to deal with at all. That's why classes like A Course in Miracles, you know, it's like, I'm always shocked anybody shows up. I've been teaching this class for 14 years, still the same amount of people. Why? Because the Course in Miracles teaches that there's nothing we fight more unconsciously than what it's talking about. You know, it's just a different class than how to manifest a car. And how to manifest your soulmate, and how to manifest $1 million. That kind of class would be the people hanging out the window. But when you're talking about, hey, there's a part of you that sucks. and you got dressed to come over here to listen to me tell you that. But then what's underneath that? Another part of you that's unlimited and beautiful, and infinite, and it's good, and it's light, and it's power. But it's buried underneath that layer of stuff that needs to be released and removed. And there's a quick analogy I'm going to give you that I've given before. But that's okay, because I think it's one of the best ones that people should think of when they're getting ready to open themselves up. Think of a pail of water with dirt at the bottom. The water looks perfectly clear because the dirt has settled in the bottom. All right, but you want a totally clean pail. You want your pail to no longer be the pail from hell. You don't want no more hell pail. Is that right?
That's
Okay,
right.
so what do? You get a water hose,
Yeah.
Course in Miracles. Any kind of truth book, that's your water, right? And you pour that water in that pail, and then what happens? All that dirt at the bottom, it starts to come up, right? And then all of a sudden the water looks dirtier than ever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And then it looks so dirty that you said, cut the water off, right? So you cut the water off, the dirt settles back down to the bottom of the pail, and then you go, it's all clear again. See, that's us. We come in, we got the face of innocence with the dirt of guilt and fear and separation at the bottom of the pail. Some grievances that we've had since we were children at the bottom of the pail. We've been studying this kind of truth and want to be nice people and everything. And so we got nice little clear water at the top, right? Then you come in here and you listen to As the Black Man Rants. And you come in here and then I start telling you all this stuff about what's really going on and sharing the truth. And you're studying and you're meditating and you're reading and you're learning all this new stuff. And all of your dirt at the bottom of your pail, all of those thoughts, all of those feelings come up. And then you say, I got in this Bible with this stuff and I started studying this stuff and my life really went to hell. Like I was doing great till I started studying this Course in Miracles stuff and now it just look like what? Because the dirt stirred up. You finally getting that stuff up to be purged. Because if you keep the water coming in the pail, what happens? And eventually the dirty water goes over the side and you got a clear pail from top to bottom. And a clear pail from top to bottom is you feeling love in your life. And then your outer world also reflecting love back to you, because your outer world is a reflection of your subconscious mind. So once you really cleared it up at the deepest levels, then your world reflects that back to you. So you may be at that point right now where you're disoriented, confused, and your dirty pail is like kicking butt right now. And your temptation is going to be, I need to drop this stuff. I need to get away from this stuff and go back to the way I used to do it. And then you can do that. And for a while, it'll settle back down. And then you go, whew, I'm so glad I got out of the Course in Miracles class. I'm so glad I stopped studying this stuff. I feel so much better now. But guess what? Crap is still happening to me, and I'm so nice. So then you go back to your old song again of being a nice person that's got things happen. But I'm at the point that when my dirty pail is really working, then I go, pour on more water, Spirit. Turn on more truth. I study more. I read more. I go to more classes. I try to be around more and more people who are sharing what it is that will change my mind. I do just the opposite of what my ego, fearful part of me wants me to do, which is to back off. I go, oh no, I'm afraid right now. Stuff is coming up right now. I'm going to be more committed than I've ever been before. I want the clean pail from top to bottom now. And I want to hang out with people who want clean pails from top to bottom right now. Because those people are not going to project on me what's going wrong in their life. We won't be projecting on each other. We'll be helping each other. They won't be holding me responsible. I won't be holding them responsible. It's like me walking up to a person and saying, look, I don't like the way I feel right now. I hope I'm wrong about this, but it feels like you have some kind of issue with me. Now notice how I said that. I don't like the way I feel right now. I hope I'm wrong about this, but this is what's up for me right now. Well, that's going to keep them from being defensive usually, because I didn't come at them blaming them. I said, I hope I'm wrong about the way I'm seeing and feeling you right now. I want another way to look at you right now. You see what I'm saying? So actually, want to be happy more than you want to be right. Want to be happy more than you want to be right. Want to be happy more than you want your point of view to be the point of view if it's not working for you. And I keep saying if it's not working for you. Because you are awesome. That's what you are. So, confronted with any aspect of a situation that seems to be difficult, the fearful man will attempt to take this aspect elsewhere and resolve it there. It will seem to be successful, except that the attempt conflicts with unity and oneness and must hide the goal of truth. So you feel peace, but it won't be experienced except in fantasy. Because truth hasn't come, because your faith in the truth has been denied. You didn't use the truth as a point of view. When you have faith in something, you're using it as a point of view. And the Course says you're denying your faith from where it rightfully belongs, and your faith rightfully belongs in the truth. Your faith rightfully belongs in love. Your faith rightfully belongs in unity, in oneness, in joy. Woo! Lord have mercy. Thus did you lose the understanding of the situation that the goal of truth would bring. For fantasy solutions give you a fantasy experience. So when you use a solution that's not a real solution, you just have the fantasy that it's been solved. How do you know it's a fantasy? Because it doesn't last. Like a fantasy solution in a relationship where you get back together even though you really haven't dealt with any of the real issues, for it sort of look like you all have solved it again for a little while, and then you find yourself having the same feelings. And that's in any relationship, not just a romantic relationship. If it's a fantasy solution, it never lasts. That's how you can tell when you're dealing with a solution that's not real. And so the illusion of peace is not the condition where real truth can enter. So I want the real peace where the real truth can enter. I want the real peace where the real love that lasts can enter. And that's what I want for you. Would you acknowledge yourself, holy God, for being willing to even listen to this? Woo! My goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up in just a second. We're gonna do the financial expression of appreciation right now. Thank you. I'm a full-time teacher of the Course in Miracles. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you, baby. And those of you who are watching on the internet, I want to thank you so much for your support and the messages you've been sending me, as well as your financial expressions of appreciation. If you'd like to do that, you can go to my website at earlpurdy.com, and you can make a financial expression of appreciation there. And those of you who have issues in your life that you'd like to see differently, that you'd like to get changed, that you'd like to take to another level, that you reach your limit, I do personal one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. And those of you who've ever done one, I am steadily evolving just as you are. So that means that I may be of benefit to you in a way now even more than I was at some time in the past. So you might want to consider having one. And for those who are open to it, I also know astrology and numerology, which is just another way to get some guidance and some information. So if you go to my website, earlpurdy.com, it explains it in detail, and maybe you want to set up a time with me. And so if you're on the internet and you want to be on my email list, just go to my website, because I mail out links to the videos of the classes every week to people who are on my mailing list. So the mailing list is up here. If you like to have access to the links, because I put all my classes on YouTube and on my website, then you can listen back to it again. So all these things I'm sharing because all that I give is given to myself. I know who you are. Maybe you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And so I'm going to give you what I'd like to receive, and I'm going to treat you the way I'd love to be received, and I'm not going to blame you for what's going on inside of me, in my life. I'm so glad for those Course in Miracles virgins. Was I gentle? Because that's what I would love to be. All right, here we go. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock is my next class. It's called The Way of Mastery, and it's an awesome class. We've been getting down. It's deep. And it's all about mastery, the way of the heart, the way of transformation, and the way of knowing. So again, the support is there. So here we go. Take a breath.
Yeah, I am responsible for what I say. I am responsible for what I say.
Yeah.
Say I am responsible for what I say. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for it.
So I'd like you to just close your eyes for a minute.
I choose the feelings that I experience.
I choose the feelings that, if you want to repeat it to yourself, I choose the feelings that I experience. I choose the feelings that I experience. And everything that seems to happen in my perception, I ask for. Now remember, your perception is your choice. So however you're feeling about anything, that's ultimately your choice. That means you're giving it to meaning, so you're responsible for whether or not you feel love or fear or peace or conflict. That's coming from your perception. It's coming from the meaning that you're giving to that which is happening to you. So that's what it means when it says every single thing that seems to happen to you, you ask for it because you're choosing the way you look at it. You're choosing the way you look at it. Upon the goal I would achieve. I decide upon the goal I would achieve. I decide upon the goal that I would achieve. I decide upon the goal that I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for it. Whether it's love or fear, peace or conflict, lack or abundance. I'm asking for the joy or I'm asking for the sadness. I'm deciding the way that I'm going to see this coming up week. Ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? Because everything that seems to happen to you, you are asking for it through the way that you look at it. You're not a victim. I am responsible. I am responsible. So if you're feeling joy right now, peace right now, and in your life right now is working, is smoking, is feeling good, that's what you're asking for too. That's what you are creating too. So remember everything that seems to happen to me. I'm asking for it. So now you want to ask for it. I ask for joy. I ask for peace. I ask for abundance. I ask for love. I ask for joy. I ask for joy. I ask to know my power. I ask to know my power because everything that seems to happen to me, everything that seems to happen to me, everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for it. Oh yeah, I'm asking for a party. I'm asking for a party. I'm asking for some joy. Yo. I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming out and letting yourself here. Would you acknowledge all the brothers and sisters and cool people that's sitting around you? Hugs are available. I love hugs. So give me a hug before you get out of here.